We are pulling down all the illegal refineries. We are pulling down the connection. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, just 3 days ago, Mr. Chairman, we found a connection by the help of these private contractors that were put in place, running 4 kilometers from our major trunk-Focados line into the sea, 4 kilometers into the sea. And with a loading port that has probably operated in the last 9 years, Mr. Chairman. 9 years. Yes, Mr. Chairman. And if this is just one, I do not know how many more are there, Mr. Chairman. You will see the gradual decline of production simply associated with the security challenges and its implication on investment, and ultimately we ended up shutting down the Brass Terminal, the Focados Terminal, and the Boni Terminal. All of them are practically doing zero production today. The combined effect is that we have lost 600,000 barrels per day when you do just reality check backwards to where we're coming from. On our assets, Mr. Chairman, we have deactivated 395 illegal refineries. And I will show you what this means in the pictures that you'll see subsequently. We have taken down 273 wooden boats. We have destroyed 374 reservoirs. I will show you what those reservoirs mean. 370, it's enormous, Mr. Chairman. We have destroyed 1,561 metal tanks, Mr. Chairman. And we have seized over 49 trucks and burned them down, raised them down, because there's no point taking them anywhere. These are dugout pits, 898 dugout pits so far. And I'll show you what is some of them. And I'm sure that many of the diesel that we use in all our homes here, until very recently, may be coming from those illegal refineries. I can tell you this. But you cannot sell crude oil in the international market without involving banks. It's not possible. So we have taken this struggle to the international platform. And we have asked that the United Nations declares purchase of stolen crude oil as blood diamond. And that works in some jurisdiction. And also, because sometimes when people take stolen crude oil to markets, they have no way of validation. We have also created a portal where any legitimate transaction in Nigerian crude oil can be validated. So for anyone who doesn't do, is deliberately either avoiding that process or is part of the problem. And that's why we have also appealed to the international banking platforms to engage us and to help us so that we can, because these transactions have identification. You cannot pay for 1 million barrels of oil except through a bank. The bank will ask for necessary documentation, which includes origination documents. And those origination documents can be validated in the platform that we have created, which is what you will see on slide 13, where we have created a platform that people can validate this. And also report any stolen crude or any activity that is illegal. And I'm happy to also say that the same members of communities that people think they are part of it, we have gotten enormous reports from them that the government security agencies are now working on. And it's the source of some of the arrests that we're able to do. Pictures so that I can demonstrate what they really mean. And I know Chairman Upstream and some of the Upstream committee members who have seen it, they really have seen what this really means. And there are ovens where this cooking takes place, 1,219 ovens taken down, Mr. Chairman. The implication of this, Mr. Chairman, is that you have a disaster zone. There's no better way of describing it, sir. But in terms of stoppage of production to environmental issues. And this is worse disaster than what you hear around the Ogoniland in terms of scale. And this is what we are dealing with. Today, we are not really dealing with whether or not there's the devastation of the environment, just to stop it first, before we even face the consequences, because there will be consequences. 6 and 6:30 before pumping starts. Mr. Chairman, visibility is very clear. We see those activities going on, sometimes unperturbed, unchallenged, and you'll see it. But I'm happy also that this has been degraded through the actions of our government security. And in the last 2 to 3 months, and the escalation of those interventions in the last 1 month, but with interventions of the private security that we have taken, and also the Nigerian Air Force, and we are seeing gradual respect for the state, because it's actually lack of respect for the state. And this is paying off, Mr. Chairman. And the net result, as I've said earlier, Mr. Chairman, is degradation of the environment, of scale that we are still carrying out investigations to see what does this do, all this mean, what do we do? But first and foremost, we need to stop it, and we're stopping it. And to do this also, it has many dimensions, Mr. Chairman. It's not just enough to see it as a security problem, it's not, it's also a social problem. We're also intervening in making sure that those members of community, and they are not the culprits. And I can tell you, Mr. Chairman, yes, you can operate in this environment without local knowledge, but it has now turned into an industry that everybody is participating, just like the gold in Zamfara, that everybody goes there. So today you find people from all parts of the country, and some of them even unknowingly taken there as employees of refineries. Unfortunately, they don't even know. So many of the arrests have confirmed that some of these people don't even know that they are in a wrong place. They were told that they are employed to work in a refinery, artisanal refinery, or modular refineries, because they are not refineries. So, Chairman, this is what we are dealing with. But what did we do, apart from this security intervention, is to escalate it to the global space. Because crude oil transactions, as we all know, apart from the cooking that they are doing by states, and you see that some states have disproportionate number of fuel stations. And one example that we'll just point out so that we can, just without mincing words, and I think taking it from the border states. And I'll take two examples, they should suffice. When you go to Shaki, who is, I don't know if it's from Oyo State, you have close to 100 filling stations. You don't need more than 5 stations in that vicinity. In Katsina State, distinguished Senator Ogaita, and I'll mention it, so that just to sort of show that this is not, it's everywhere. In Jivia, between kilometer 10 into Jivia, I'm sure we all know Jivia, I'm not sure Jivia requires more than 3 filling stations. You have over 90 fuel stations between kilometer 10, yes. And this is true of every state that has a border. Every border city that you have in this country have this disproportionate number of fuel stations beyond their needs. But I'm happy also to say that there's a regulation that has limited establishment of new stations close to the border states. And I think this is something that should interest the National Assembly. Maybe it can be a legislative matter for you to consider. But these are the realities that you are seeing. How we can reduce them or how we can discourage them can be a matter of legislative considerations. So, Chairman, slide 28, refinery updates. What are we doing with our refineries? I've said it the last time I engaged you. Port Harcourt refinery rehabilitation is on progress, it's ongoing. You will see the scale of activities that we're doing. We're very confident that we'll deliver this refinery to completion. And also active work is going on. I invite you at your convenience to join us to come and see what is going on. We're also mobilizing into Warri Refinery. Contractor has mobilized to site. And I also invite you to join us so that we can see what is going on in Warri Refinery. A mobilization with Kaduna will now follow suit. This is clearly unavoidable because it's now you have access to fend for ourselves, Mr. Chairman. We do not have recourse to state funds anymore. We are borrowing to fund this infrastructure rehabilitation, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished Senator, so much is different to the benefit of our country. In the past, Distinguished Senator, NNPC has recourse to state funds who do not have absolute necessity to be completely accountable to our shareholders. Mr. Chairman, because there's no necessity, there's no requirement of the law to do this. And also, it is not a business It is an agency of government. So the net effect is that when we look at the books of this company over its history, and up to 2018, the recorded transactions of this, if it were a business, it was running at a loss. And by 2018, the losses were 803 billion naira. Mr. Chairman, by 2019, because so much change has also taken place, and I agree with you, distinguished senator, that there's an existing organization that was transforming, that was changing over the last 5, 6, 7 years. We know this is happening. So much change has taken place even without the PIA, to such a level that it was maturing. But what the PIA did also is to bring necessity of a massive change in the way we conduct our business, the way we must be transparent to our shareholders, and also how we accumulate cost. And the net effect, Mr. Chairman, is that by 2019, our losses came down to less than $2 billion naira. By 2020, the published accounts of this company now indicated that we are in a position of net profit of 287 billion. And since the passage of the PIA, distinguished chairman, so many decisions were easily made. Compliance became an issue, and we tried everything possible to comply with every regulation. And the business became the basis of our decisions, commerciality. And at the end, Mr. Chairman, this morning, we announced the audited financial statements of this company for year 2021. Mr. Chairman, we made net profit of 274 billion naira. 674 billion naira, Mr. Chairman.